enough that they can walk in her office or my office and say, I've got a problem. And believe me, they do. You talk about a revolving door, an open door policy for teachers, you have to have it for the students too. And you just want to make them comfortable. They're spending half of their waking life with you. And we are their parents when they're with us, and we have to remember that. A high level of faculty commitment, you're going to find that in any school to watch. If you don't, that school's probably not going to become a school to watch.
Yeah, there was another school that had been a Lighthouse school, and the leadership of the school changed, the principal changed, and the team went in to redesignate it. And they said that this faculty was not, they were doing worksheets, and the faculty was not in it, and they didn't get redesignated. It was kind of an embarrassment.
Right.
But it was the faculty commitment. When the leadership changed, there was not the support, I guess. Maybe.
Right, the belief in it.
I have just a quick question about the learning communities. You mentioned 2 to 3, but then with
we have 4 to 5.
4 to 5, you were still designated?
Oh yeah, we're still a learning community because we have the smaller the team. Now Dr. Lounsbury really likes the small teams, okay?
You say small.
2 and 3. He really likes the 2 and 3. 4 and 5, every time he says, I think your team's too big, I think your team's too big. But it doesn't keep me from getting it.
What are your content areas when you say 5? Is reading separate from the language?
Well, we have literature. Reading would be for a child that went during connections for reading, but we have literature and English separated. We do the writing and the language. That's where we do the writing process or the teaching of it. And then we have the math, science, and social studies. And then usually on a 4-member team, everybody's going to teach social studies.
And see, on mine, on a 4-person team, math, language arts, social studies, and science, and everybody except the math teacher is certified in reading. A couple of years ago when the state said get everybody certified in reading, we did.
And when you say except for the math person, what is that?
I let the 8th grade math person teach 5 periods of math a day. And then but my social studies or my science or my language arts person will probably teach 1 or 2 reading classes per day.
Right.
So on a 5-period day, a language arts person might teach 4 language arts in a reading, or 4 social studies in a reading, or 4 sciences in a reading. That's on the 8th grade.
And we did that last year on a team, and our reading scores dipped year before last, so we went back to social studies because right now it's not on the radar like everything else is.
You just brought in your language class?
No, we did 1 4-member team. We did that 2 years ago. We did a reading and a language lit, and we did reading circles and taught it all that way. And our reading scores dipped in the 7th grade where I'd done that. And so I pulled back and put them back all in social studies because of the AYP situation. And also getting the students ready for, because you're not going to focus on AYP in a school to watch. You're going to focus on the next level of learning that child's got to participate in. So everything you're going to do is to prepare that kid for the next level. That's all you're thinking about. No matter what level they're learning at, how can I get them better to get to their next level of learning? And so on a team, you're going to be okay with teams of 4 and 5. You could still be a school to watch. That could be a stretch goal for you like it is for me. So my stretch goal, when I wrote it, all of them were 5s. So I told him I had met a little bit of it. I'd gotten to a 4. But I did want to talk about something. Oh, right here. Attention to the non-cognitive goals of education. That's really big in a school to watch because not only, when you look at that middle school concept of academic excellence, developmental responsiveness, and social equity. Those are the 3 prongs of middle school concept. When you look at that, it's all got to be balanced. You can't be all, so what if 95% of them all are passing the test and you have this wonderful school as far as test scores? What if they're not happy? What if there's inequity in who gets to take which classes or which curriculum? What if you're not delivering the same curriculum to all the students in the same grade level? And believe me, when we go in schools, we see this. So you got to balance all that. You got to do all of that to be school to watch. You've got to make sure that the non-cognitive goals of education are in place as well as the cognitive goals. You do have extensive family and community involvement, and The active business partnerships is according to where you are, and I mean, we don't press it that much, but usually when we go, every school to watch is going to have at least one very strong partner somewhere in that community. But the rubric, and this is what we wanted to take y'all through, but before we do, we're going to see if you have any questions for us at this point. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk to us about? Because what we're going to ask you to do is look at the rubric, and we thought you'd be in teams, but you're going to look at the rubric, and you can do it together and come up with something. And on your little Post-it notes, you're going to put it over here when we ask you to. We're just going to look at academic excellence, because one thing you need to do is get familiar with the criteria that's required to be a school to watch if that's where you're headed. Y'all do know that's where the vision is for all of y'all? Okay, all right.
That is a wonderful goal.
It is, it's awesome.
Lofty goal.
Right.
And it's going to take a lot of work, but I mean, kudos to you if you can do
right.
that.
I think it's incredible.
It takes strong leadership at the school level and good support from the central office and just
a lot of support.
Teachers
yes.
who are everybody's on the same page doing what's
right.
best for the kids. It's a great goal.
Right. I'm going to tell you, when we first went to the summit, the first time we ever went, I was on a panel, and we were talking. There were 4 of us from across the country. And from that, we networked in with NASSP, actually wrote a chapter for the Breaking Ranks in the Middle, the book that they published. I actually went to the press conference, national press conference, when they put the book out. I mean, there's so many opportunities that come out of this, and our children have been on the cover, I'm sure yours have too, have been on the cover of the national, of the Middle Grounds, the middle school publication. Because Dr. Lounsbury, if he comes in school, he's going to be taking some pictures. And he loves to take pictures of children. So, and Linda does too. But as you're moving through this and you go to these, what I was going to tell you about the summit, when you go to this, one of the things I wanted to do, right after we became a school to watch, was I wanted to finally do away with the homogeneous grouping in this school. And y'all, you have to realize, I'm in the school, not the same school, but I'm in the community where I grew up. I went to school. I was part of the private school within the public school. Now, the only way I got into that realm was with my intelligence, because we were poor as church mice. So it wasn't who I knew, it was that I was smart and that Mama had a good work ethic for us. So I went to school here, I've taught here, I've done all of this, and I've watched it all. And there's still that private school within the public school where they get a different curriculum, and they all get to sit together. They go to class together, and they were rotating that way. And I thought, we've got to change this. And so we, at that summit, I sat at a lunch and learn with a lady from out west, and it was on tracking, and so we talked about how to approach it. I went back and followed the approach she suggested. Y'all, I never had the first comment. We've been this way for 6 years now, and I've never had a parent complain to me. Because what we went after was that we would keep the level of education. We were going to here's what I told the parents when I went back. This year, I think you'll recognize that the classes are going to be a little different. All of the classes will be advanced classes this year. So if your child is struggling in any way, please let us know, because we have a way to fix that. We have a way to work with them. We have safety nets in place. Well, once I said that at the first orientation, what parent was going to walk up to me and say, I don't think every child ought to be in an advanced class? You know? So that was the way I approached it, and that came out of Schools to Watch. I mean, you'll learn so much from so many people.
I have a question just in reference to once you went to the heterogeneous grouping, how did you address the needs for your gifted and talented and for your special needs children?
All right. All of my teachers have gifted endorsement. All of them. All my academic teachers do. Not all Connections. One Connections does. But all academic teachers do. And this year I'm training my instructional strategist, and that would be my co-teacher. There is a co-teacher on every team, and they follow those children through those co-teaching classes. I'm using a model that I studied about 3 years ago on gifted, because I had to wait until this guy at the central office, his wife, retired, because she was doing a pull-out literature for the gifted, and I had to just wait till that, you know, it's a small community. And, you know, go to church with all of them. You don't want to be like that. So I waited till she left, and then we did the gifted endorsement for everyone. And it took us 2 years. That's all it took. Took a lot of money, but it just took 2 years. And then this year I want to do the instructional strategist, which is the co-teacher on each team, because the whole idea for us is not just for the gifted and talented children. I wanted my teachers, and this way I explain it to them, I wanted because all the differentiated instruction comes out of the gifted research, the gifted literature. And so I told them I wanted them to be able to spot giftedness or spot talent in any child at any time. Because you may have a child that is struggling, that has gaps over here in math, can't do this, but you give him one unit on something, let's just say it's geometry on figures, solids. And then all of a sudden, it's like a spark went off. I want the teacher to know with every child how to spot that and how to push it. I wanted the differentiation because what we were after was advanced classes, not teaching to the middle. We teach to the top. And if they don't get it, we catch them somewhere else. We move right through that curriculum. It's not taught for mastery. It is in a way, it's hard to explain to a new teacher. In a way, you're teaching for mastery because you're going to teach them until they get it. But you may not be teaching that whole class till they all get it. So in that way, it's different from teaching that way. So when we first went to heterogeneous, we struggled with the differentiation piece. And I bought everything ASCD had out there. And some of it's the most boring stuff you'll ever sit through. And I finally told my teachers, you are the model. You're doing it. You're great. And they are. I'd say that out of, I have 85 certified staff members, and 72 of those probably are in the classroom, and then 40, maybe not 72. Oh no, they're pretty, 72, 52. Probably 65 of them are in the classroom, and out of all of those, I probably don't have 4 teachers that really need to work on delivery. They may need to work on relationships. That's really what I'm working on right now with a few people. But it's not on delivery, it's not on instruction, and how kids learn or engagement. They all got that.
And so your teacher must be wonderful.
It is. It didn't used to be because we were the only school in the system having to do school improvement because everybody else was making AYP because it was so easy for them to start with. If you've been in it for a while, you know middle schools took the hit. And she doesn't have to worry because hers was always way up there. I'm way down there low. I mean, we were pitiful when I took the school. But there'd never been a goal set. There was no vision. There was no common work. Everybody was working, but not in the same direction. And so, and I knew that all we needed was somebody to get in there and just let them go. But anyway, what was your question? Attrition. Right. We did have it until everybody else started doing improvement. And then, of course, the economy hit. I called them last year, and, well, this year they wanted me to see if I'd have a teacher that could move to the high school. I didn't have a single soul that wanted to leave me. And I called back over to the central office, and I said, I know y'all not going to believe this, but nobody wants to leave me. And we all started laughing because I've always been this... I had this reputation of if you work with us, you're going to do your job. You're going to work hard. But if you work hard, I'd give you the sun if I could pull it down for you. But if you don't work hard,